ABMP members get 20% off the list price on all Handspring Publishing titles, including Functional Exercise Prescription, supporting rehabilitation in movement and sport, and Oncology Massage, an integrative approach to cancer care. Visit handspringpublishing.com to learn about other books to grow your practice. ABMP members visit abmp.com/discounts to access your discount code to save 20% on all list prices with free shipping to US and UK addresses. Find your next favorite book at handspringpublishing.com.
What better time to reflect on your career and future than now? The Dr. Ida Rolf Institute, based in Boulder, Colorado, with training centers around the world, offers the highest quality education and training for body workers looking to become Rolfers. You can have a rewarding career helping people feel better and move more fluidly in their bodies. A career in Rolfing pays more and allows maximum flexibility and freedom. Be your own boss, help people, build your career. Call the Dr. Ida Rolf Institute today at 303-449-5903 or visit rolf.org to get started. I'm Darren Buford.
And I'm Kristin Coverley.
And welcome to the ABMP Podcast, a podcast where we speak with the massage and bodywork profession. Our guest today is Davonna Willis. Davonna is a health and wellness practitioner, entrepreneur, and advocate for her clients and students. She owns 419 Education and Training, where she teaches massage courses and is a marketing and strategy consultant to new business owners. Learn more at 419education.com. That's the number 4, 19 spelled out, education.com. Hello, Davonna. Hello, Kristin.
Hi, Darren. Hi, Kristin.
Hi, welcome to the ABMP Podcast. We're so excited to have you here and looking forward to our conversation. But let's start by letting our listeners know a little bit more about you. So tell us what led you to massage therapy and then to becoming a business coach and CE provider. Tell us about the journey.
Sure. So first and foremost, I am from New York. So I'm a New York City girl from the Bronx, born and raised, not too far from Yankee Stadium. And my journey to massage was a little bit different. So my background is in sports medicine and athletic training. And so we used to have a sports massage therapist come to our school to work on our athletes. And so when she would come in, I was like, what are you doing differently than what we're doing? And so she would talk to me about their flexibility and breaking up some scar tissue. Because if you don't know what an athletic trainer is, it's pretty much a physical therapist for the athletes. So we're their first responders, if you will, they're providers. We take care of them. And so we do the typical physical therapy type function. So once I graduated Xavier and I went back home to New York, I looked up massage schools in New York. And I found the Swedish Institute is one of the longest standing, massage schools. And so I attended. So it's so funny. So at the time, I think it was like 1,800 hours. So I received an associate's degree.
Wow.
I already had my bachelor's and then I received an associate's degree because it was almost like a 2-year program. And that's how I ended up becoming a massage therapist by way of athletic training. But I knew I wanted to combine both of my modalities together. And so once I finished massage school, I was studying for my national certification to become an athletic trainer. I started working at Columbia University in their sports medicine department, working with their athletes. So, I was working with the soccer team. I had a couple of teams I was working with. So sometimes other teams that weren't my teams were like, hey, Davonna, can you kind of, rub my hamstring out a little bit, do some spot treatment, because everyone knew that, I had those skill sets. So that was my roundabout way of getting into massage.
Davonna, let's dive a little deeper into your business coaching and helping practitioners. Is there a common piece of advice or action step that you find most practitioners need, or where do you start?
I usually start in knowing what your target market is, right? So that's really because as massage therapists, we're known to be empaths, and I want to help everyone, and I want to love everybody, right? But what I really talk about is know your numbers. If you really want to be a business owner, know your numbers. And what do I mean by that? Know how many clients you need a week, a day, a week, a month. Knowing how your retention numbers, knowing your budget, your finances, your your P&L, profit and loss, like knowing your numbers. That's something, and I just 2 weeks ago, we went through that, maybe 3 weeks ago, I went through that with we have a 419 coach council, that my peer-to-peer coaching group. And we were digging in their numbers. And, sometimes it could be disheartening. You think you're doing good till you see like you were strong in September, and in October, you're down. And you're like, what happened? So somebody or a couple of people didn't come back, but you didn't really know the impact it was on your finances, right? And so knowing your numbers is really important.
Do you find that's like the most common roadblock to people when they're first starting out? Is that the biggest hurdle?
Money is the biggest hurdle. Cash flow. That's one of the biggest hurdles, because they don't even know about their numbers, because they're like, well, I don't have any money. I don't have money to, even get a website going, or, scheduling program, or, so I find that cash flow is the first hurdle.
And if someone is just starting out and they do have a cash flow problem, there's a 0 in that column in their on their spreadsheet. What's the first thing you recommend that they do to shift that, to start getting clients in the door?
I would say start with first, everyone says starts with your friends and family. Sometimes that's not always the best, because sometimes, they're used to getting things for free. Remember when you was in school, you was just coming to my house and just doing it for free. But now you want me to pay for it. And it's what? You want to charge $80? That's too much, right? So I wouldn't always say friends and family, that in my experience. Let's just put that out there. But I would say social media, right? And so we all have a Facebook page, and just say, hey, you guys, I'm starting my business. And, for the first 30 days, 60 minutes for $60, right? And so just putting it out there. Is it directly to your friends and family? Yes and no. But then you're really making an announcement, like, this is for real, for real. Here's my business name. Here's what and then starting a Facebook page, Instagram page, getting your social media out there. I think that would be a really great place to start, and having a free scheduling program. A lot of the scheduling programs nowadays do start with a basic. So you can at least have a scheduling program. So the people who are interested, you give them a link so they can click to that website for them to schedule on your schedule.
Davonna, what was one of the biggest lessons you learned along the way as you were starting and expanding your own massage practice and your coaching CE business?
I would say one of the biggest lessons is really knowing your market. So when I started, my son was only 3 months old. And the reason why I started my own business is because I had got laid off when I was on maternity leave. And that's another story for another day. And that was in like the sports medicine world. And so I was like, what can I do? And I haven't really done I hadn't done a full massage in years, like a 60-minute. I didn't even know where to start. I had to pull out all my old paperwork from Swedish Institute. Like, what is a protocol? Like, how do I do it? So anyway, one of the biggest things was I was subletting from an esthetician. And she was like, she was a peer coach to me. She was like, girl, you need a RAC card, and you need a business card, and you need this. And so she would let me come in, like 1 day or 2 days a week. And I was there for like probably 3 months. And it was in one of those salon spas. We have a lot of those places where, everyone has their own individual room. And it was a lot of hairdressers. There was a couple of SCs and like 1 or 2 massage therapists. I realized real quickly that wasn't my market. So even though I had my RAC card out, I would get, I'm a sports med, I'm a medical massage therapist. So I would get some, but I noticed like the guys who would come and get a haircut, they would get my card and come in, and then they would realize that I was more than just a spa, and then they would stay and, and then refer out. And then they were giving me some of their athletic people, because that's what I, specialized in. So I quickly learned who my target market was. And then I shift really quickly. I took out all the spy stuff, right? So knowing who your target market is and how you're going to work within that target market. So I feel like I know that I'm an expert in my field. No one can tell me I'm not, because I have the education, I have the years, I have the knowledge and the wisdom that comes with that. So being an expert in your field. If you want to try different things, great, you should, to know what works for you and what didn't. I took a hot stone CE class to know if that was something I wanted to use and learn the placement. No, I don't really want to put stones in the middle of the toes. Does it feel great? Absolutely. Would I get it done on myself? Sure. Is that me? No, right? So just knowing, I can use this to warm up the tissue, so I don't have to do 20 strokes to get deeper. I do like 5 with the hot stone, boom, and I get right. So I would use a little bit to my, add into my toolbox as a technique, but not like do the full hot stone protocol.
Let's take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors.
Anatomy Trains is thrilled to announce our first ever Women's Health Symposium. This live online event takes place February 26 and 27, 2022, AWST, that's Australian Western Standard Time. Register by January 21st to receive a significant early bird discount and over $400 worth of bonuses. We have invited a powerful lineup of all female authors, physicians, therapists, and clinicians to share their passion and life's work. Visit anatomytrains.com for details. Universal Companies is the massage practitioner's best friend. Our pro-tested products include lotions, linens, and tools, plus education and marketing resources. Voted best distributor for the past 17 years by spa professionals, you can count on us. ABMP Podcast listeners save 10% on select brands of products when you place a minimum $99 order at universalcompanies.com/ABMP.
Now let's get back to the podcast. Davonna, what tips do you have for practitioners who want to expand their practice but don't really know where to start? How do they make that leap?
Know your numbers. Have a budget. You have to have a budget. So that was when I did that in 2017. That's when I sat down with a business coach, because I said, listen, I just don't want to do massage. My background is in sports medicine, so I want to grow that part. I want to add both to it. I want to do my corrective therapy and my stretch therapy in my sessions and in my business. And I grew a team of 5, right? And so knowing what that looks like, knowing how much it is, and I knew I didn't want to have contractors. For the longest I dibbled in contractors, but I'm type A, and then I have a brand, before I sold my massage practice, right? I had a brand, and I know what that is. So I want, when anybody comes into Blue Skies, whether they get me or John or Julie or whatever, it's consistent. It's not like they skip the beat. Julie's sick, but they got to go to John. They're going to get that same consistency. And so obviously, and this is where people make mistakes. They want to build, or they want to add a team member, but they want to go to a contractor route, but then they want to determine their hours and their hours and how they want them to practice and all that stuff. You can't, right? But as an employee, you can. But then when employee, it comes employment taxes, it comes workers' comp, it comes, right? And so then you have to budget for that. One of the biggest things, I will always contact my accountant and bookkeeper. I'm like, but why is the employer taxes, and she's like, well, Davonna, that was like a constant because the employer taxes is a killer. I'm not, I'm going to be really upfront with you because that's something you really need to budget for,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but then, knowing my business model, I really still couldn't do the contractor thing because I wanted the consistency. Right. And so I'll give you an example. So the lymphatic drainage massage that I learned years ago from Marsha retired. She developed it. It's called Free the Flow Lymphatic Drainage Massage work. I love it. I've gotten great results. We had a big contract with a cancer treatment center, used that on the, cancer patients. So, and not to knock any other lymphatic, because I had to learn the basics. I learned Vata and all that stuff. But this is something I teach, and this is something that we used in my practice. All the therapists learn this technique for consistency wise, right? I told you this is why it was W2. I had a young lady who came in. She was certified already in the Vata technique. And I was like, that's great, but you can use some of that, but you still have to use our technique. Are you open to that? And I made sure I asked that because, if somebody's been doing whatever technique they've been doing and she's been in the game for a while, so it's kind of hard to change. And I was like, are you open to it? Because we have the need for another lymphatic therapist and they have to be certified. And so she said, yes. And we trained her, had some of the girls train her and then, had them work with her and then she had to show. Well, come to find out, she was out one day and she had to go to one of our other girls. A client had to go to one of our other girls. And then the client never wanted to leave the other girl because she saw more results and she liked the flow better, right? And she's like, well, how come such and such didn't do that? And I didn't know, right? So I hear from my admin in the front and I'm like, well, what's going on? And then clients, they'll tell you if they're not happy, right? And she wanted to stay with the other. And I'm not going to tell them not to. Well, obviously she enjoyed her work. But when it came out to be, we found out she wasn't using not even a little bit. Because I was like, you can use yours, but still add some of ours in the technique. And she wasn't. And so, and then you know what? And it was very apparent with her numbers.
Back to the numbers, always back to the numbers.
It goes back to the numbers.
All right, Davonna, another tip you have for practitioners is to develop a business calendar. What type of activities do you recommend they schedule?
Social media, the time of day. There's a lot of different articles when it's the perfect time of day to have your social media presence. So instead of sitting here and doing it manually every day, you can schedule it out, right? And so having a calendar, okay, so December is coming, end of November, probably November 25th, I'm going to schedule my whole December calendar. The time of day that you want to actually check emails, right? And so doing that back office things, if you don't have it in your budget to have someone do your accounting, you working on your own accounting, whether it's QuickBooks or using one of the scheduling programs. Some of them now have reporting for you, going through that, looking at your numbers. So really being a business owner, these are the things that you have to do. You have to separate. And this was a conversation I recently just had too, separate the business from then you working on people. And so sometimes going back to a little bit of what they need to know is having a policy and procedures. Because what I was finding, one of my clients was getting frustrated because she wasn't sticking to her policies and procedures or wasn't enforcing those. So then when someone wants to no-show or last minute cancel and that money you was waiting for, and then the money's not there, then you get mad and now you don't want to work with that person. And no, because you let that person go too many times and they're like, oh, she's cool, it'll be fine. No, you have to stick to your policies. So if you don't have one, schedule a day when you're going to sit down and go through your policies and making sure your clients know, scheduling newsletters, different things of that nature.
Davonna, let's talk about business management software. I'm getting excited because I love organization and spreadsheets, but you say that a customer relationship management or CRM software program can really help practitioners with client acquisition and retention. So tell us a little bit more about how investing in a software program, an actual CRM software program, is better than what most therapists might be using in the form of just an Excel spreadsheet to track their clients.
So I'm all about streamlining. So having everything on one software is easy. So for me, there's different ones. When I very first started, I started with Full Slate, and Full Slate was a great program. And then as I started getting busier, I was on the beta when Massage Book started. And I didn't transfer over because they took a long time to get the text message, and Full Slate had texting to the clients. And once Massage Book transitioned, it did the texting because it was crazy. They had this Full Slate had the texting, but they didn't have the soap notes. Massage Book had the soap notes, but not the texting. And I'm like, I'm not transferring because it's a lot when you transfer in your whole client list to the different program and learning it. Anyway, so once they transferred over, I transferred over to Massage Book. I'm not a sponsor of Massage Book. I'm just telling you about my experience and why it was great for me and then my team. So for me, it's really important because Massage Book had not only the scheduling program, I can have each team have their own schedule, have access to their own schedule, don't have to look at the full schedule. It also, my admin had some privileges that the team didn't have because I had her doing certain things. And then my accountant was able to see everything because he was able to run the reports and see the numbers. And when I was having our monthly meeting about retention, it had everybody's name, the clients they saw, the services they had, and, the numbers. So reporting is really important when you're running a business. As a real business owner, if you really want to take your business to the next level, is knowing your numbers. And so that's why I love CRMs, because everything is right there. You don't need additional software when you can, and you find the one that works for you and all your needs. But that one was the best for me.
That's great. So really looking for one program that does it all: the scheduling, the customer client management,
the newsletters,
finances, everything combined. Yeah.
Yep. Gift certificates and all the reporting is right there for you. How many gift certificates did you sell this holiday season? Right. And so that number is there, and then you can compare it to last holiday season. So those numbers and having everything in one software was really important for me for streamlining.
And Davonna, for listeners who might not yet have invested in an online scheduling or CRM software program, about how much does it cost per month? What's the range that they might be looking at investing?
Between probably on a lower end, maybe $14, $15 to about $50. There are ones that's higher, but to get at least the basic necessities, it's just you're finding the one that works well for you. What are your business needs?
And I'm guessing you're going to say it's worth every penny, yes?
100%. 100%.
Davonna, you've already shared a lot of great information with us today, but I'd love to ask, what piece of advice would you like to share with listeners today? What's most important for you that our listeners hear?
I would say find a mentor or a business consultant that you can really talk to. It would be a great expense because it wouldn't even look like an expense because of all the growth that you would receive from that. And so investing in you and your business is very important. I've taken many different business certifications, courses, as well as regular courses to learn more, because that's how I was able to grow and eventually sell my business. So really investing in yourself and your business to take yourself to another level.
I want to thank our guest today, Davonna Willis. For more information about Davonna, visit 419education.com. ABMP Podcast listeners, ABMP members have access to more than 50 discounts through their membership. Services include discounts on continuing education, home utilities and cell phone service, legal fees, office equipment, and more. Go to abmp.com/discounts to learn. Thanks, Davonna. Thanks, Kristin.
Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for being with us, Davonna, and congratulations on everything you've built, and also for taking the time to be a business coach and help other practitioners grow and expand as well. That's really important work. We thank you for it. Members are loving ABMP 5-Minute Muscles and ABMP Pocket Pathology, 2 quick reference web apps included with ABMP membership. ABMP 5-Minute Muscles delivers muscle-specific palpation and technique videos, plus origins, insertions, and actions for the 83 muscles most commonly addressed by bodyworkers. ABMP Pocket Pathology, created in conjunction with Ruth Werner, puts key information for nearly 200 common pathologies at your fingertips and provides the knowledge you need to help you make informed treatment decisions. Start learning today. ABMP members log in at abmp.com and look for the links in the featured benefits section of your member homepage. Not a member? Learn about these exciting member benefits at abmp.com/more.